Hello and welcome back to the JW Thoughts channel. My name is Wally and today we are looking at the Saturday morning of the JW 2024 Declare Good News Convention. Now, I've heard your guys' feedback. I get a little bit silly, I get a little bit, wacky, and I want to let you guys know, I take your feedback very seriously. So, no funny business this time. We are going to stay on point, which means no more silly gags, no more surprises. We are going to be very serious and talk about some Jehovah's Witness prophecies. So let's do this.
Brother Bellamy, you have our full attention.
The bearing witness to Jesus is what inspires prophesying.
What did he say?
Prophesying, prophesying, prophesying.
I almost feel bad for Wish.com Morgan Freeman here. He has to get up in front of a bunch of people. He's probably really nervous, and he's giving this symposium, kicking off with a whole shebang about prophecy. He scuffs it up just immediately with prophesy. And I was trying to see, was he trying to say prophesying? But there is no ing in there. I've listened to it 100 times. So sorry, buddy. But now all I'm going to ever remember for is how you just completely stuffed the intro of your talk by saying prophesy.
Prophesying. Prophesying, 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 prophesying. Bible prophecy. Bible prophecy. Bible prophecy.
It's been a while since I've made one of those, and I figured why not immortalize this guy's blunder within the first 10 seconds of talking about prophecy. Now, there's a couple rules whenever you're discussing prophecies. What did it happen beforehand? Was it said beforehand? And can anyone tinker with it? Could it be self-fulfilling in a way? So if I say something like, I'm going to buy a cupcake from Safeway on a Wednesday at 3 p.m. in 5 years. Then I can buy a cupcake at 3 p.m. on a Wednesday in 5 years and call myself a prophet. But it doesn't work because I knew about it, and so therefore I could make sure that it was fulfilled. So let's see if they violate any of those principles.
I am sending to you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and awe-inspiring day of Jehovah. Yes, this messenger would actually prepare the way for the acceptance of the Messiah. Now, how were those prophecies fulfilled? Well, Jesus provides us with the answer in the book of Matthew, chapter 11, verses 10 through 14. For all the prophets and the law prophesied until John. And if you are willing to accept it, he is Elijah who is to come. So Jesus very clearly identifies John the Baptist as that messenger.
So if Jesus was familiar with the writings of Malachi, assuming that he could even read, being from Nazareth and everything, doesn't it not really track? Because he's like, oh, okay, so there's supposed to be this Elijah. Well, man, shoot, no one here is talking about me prophesying the Messiah that's named Elijah. How about this guy named John? You know what, John? You're Elijah. You're the one. And he's like, huh? Well, cool. Let's get baptized. You see why it's a problem? It's not really a prophecy if you can read about it and be like, oh, okay, that has to be fulfilled. I better make sure that that gets fulfilled. Now, we're not going to spend too much time digging into the nitty-gritty of all of these prophecies, so we'll be a bit of a speed run today.
So this portrayed the fulfillment of the prophecy. In fact, two things are mentioned here.
You're tacky and I hate you.
Over 700 years in advance, the prophet Micah foretold that the Messiah would be born in Bethlehem, Ephrathah. You, O Bethlehem, Ephrathah.
This dude tried the first time and completely cooked it. He goes in for the second time and he's like, nope. He doesn't attempt that word for the rest of the talk. Bethlehem. It's like he just got a root canal. It's pronounced Bethlehem Ephrathah, you bozo. It's not even that hard to say. Oh, God. I remember I had a talk once about this, and I've just never forgotten the pronunciation. Bethlehem Ephrathah. But, oh, my Lord. I mean, he's a Bethlehem. He turned into Joe Biden for a second.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was in the foothills of the Himalayas with Xi Jinping, traveling with him. I guess we traveled 17,000 miles when I was vice president. I don't know that for a fact.
Especially our sisters who perhaps have given birth. Can you imagine being 9 months pregnant? Riding on a donkey, 2,500 feet into the mountainous region, during the rainy season?
And uphill both ways.
No doubt the journey would have caused an average woman to go right into birth. Just the thought of it. Just the thought of it. The thought of it.
That's why it's called fucking non-stick!
He flew into a great rage. He ordered all the boys in Bethlehem and its surrounding districts to be killed. All the boys from 2 years of age and under. We come to the real issue. That's the ongoing battle between Jehovah God and Satan the devil. So that doesn't make sense. We know it was Satan that was behind this vicious plot. Now, centuries in advance, Jehovah anticipated this attack on his son, the Messiah.
Just the thought of it.
Now, can you imagine the audacity, the arrogance of Satan to attempt to assassinate the human son of God as a baby, no less?
Just the thought of it.
Now, Jehovah could have solved that problem any number of ways. He could simply have executed Herod the Great. So that doesn't make sense, like he did his grandson a few years later. He could have confused the astrologers. He could have had that star lead them out into the wilderness or back home. Instead, he caused Jeremiah to prophesy that some future event would cause deep emotional pain to Rachel, or Israel's mothers, and for Hosea to foretell that somehow or other the Messiah would come out of Egypt. So that doesn't make sense.
So amongst all their yapping about these prophecies that are fairly inconsequential and don't make a whole lot of sense, there's this weird tournament anime arc where Satan and Jehovah are dueling it out, and yet Satan was aware of the prophecy 1,000 years beforehand, but he still went ahead and tried to go ahead with the plot. Whenever the governing body or the writing department submitted this, they must have been like really fanficking, like, yeah, man, this would be so cool. And the governing body is like, man, yeah, that sounds hip and edgy. Like, what are you guys talking about? Like, honestly, what are you talking about? Ooh, God had to outwit Satan. No, he didn't. He's the master of the universe. He can do whatever the hell he wants. This is absolutely hysterical. But if you think my little montage of this didn't make any sense, that's because the talks didn't make any sense either. Let's move on. And by move on, I mean move on with the rest of my day, because that's about it. They just keep talking about prophecies for the rest of it. Not very interesting. I'm going to be completely honest with you. And then after that is the baptism talk, which I think I've said about everything I can. I think I've done 2 or 3 conventions now, so there's not a whole lot. The baptism talk is basically the same every year. They interview someone and they're like, yippee, I'm getting baptized. It's usually someone that is like in their teens and then someone that's older to try and prove to the world that, no, we don't just baptize children. Look, we randomly found one person over the age of 12 that wants to get baptized. Anyway, that's about it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was just kind of a silly, wacky time because this section of the convention was pretty silly and wacky and there wasn't a whole lot to say about it. But anyway, we make the best of it. Hopefully you guys found it enjoyable. With all of that being said, don't forget to drop a like on the video if you're still around. It was a bit of a shorter one, but I will see you guys tomorrow. Stay safe, be kind, and don't forget to show yourself the same kindness that you show to others. And I know you're going to have a good-ass day.